everyone, and welcome back to Simply Handmade. If this is your first time here, my name is Kell, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. And today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to make some barn doors that can go on the cabinets that we built last week. I love this DIY. I know I say this about all my DIYs, guys. I love this one. It's definitely my favorite so far, and I'm just so proud of it. It's like my baby apart from my two babies. Like, I love it. So I'm gonna show you guys how to build it, and I keep looking over here because one is behind me and one is over here, and I just keep looking at it in admiration because I seriously can't believe I built it. Anyway, so before we get started, I want to encourage you guys to click that subscribe button if it's red and turn on post notifications so you know when I upload a video on here. Also, if you're truly interested in knowing how to build this and make one for yourself, I left a link in the description box to my blog post that will show you step by step how you can do everything. I also have like little infographics and all of that you can reference, and of course you can also ask me questions in the comments down below. I'll be more than happy to help you guys out. So let's get into the video. So before I actually show you how to build this project, I am gonna let you know I did not record myself breaking down the pallets because I think I did it wrong. Like, my thumb hurt, my wrist hurt, my elbows hurt, my back hurt, muscles that I didn't know existed hurt, and it's literally not easy. It's not as easy as people make it seem in these videos, and I was getting so frustrated. I was like, I'm doing something wrong. But honestly, my husband tried it out too, and it's just not as simple as people make it seem. I'll actually leave a YouTube video that I referenced that kind of helped me out, but like I said, it's hard. It's not as easy as the videos make it seem. So you might be wondering where you can get pallets. You can either check Facebook Marketplace. I've seen a couple pallets listed there, but they weren't free. People were trying to sell them, and I didn't want to pay for pallets. So my next stop was Craigslist, and that's where I actually got all of my pallets in one shot. And you can also go to businesses. So if you're at a supermarket or if you're at a clothing store, wherever you're at, you can ask the manager or the owner if you can have the pallets. Don't just take them because technically it's still their property. You don't want to get in trouble. So you can ask them, and if they say yes, you can take the pallets. So once you have your pallets broken down, you want to kind of leave them off to the side and move on to the 1/4 inch plywood. I got this plywood from my local hardware store, and I had them cut it down to the size. Again, all of that's listed on my blog, but I had them cut it down to the size that I wanted to, and then I laid both of them flat on the floor and I drew out the pattern that I wanted. Of course, you can do any pattern that you want. You could do chevron, you could do straight, you can do up and down, but I wanted it to be kind of different because this is going to be like a statement piece in my living room. So I decided to do this pattern that you see right here. So when I had the design that I liked, I went ahead and I stained both the front and the back plywood with this beautiful chocolate color. I decided to actually stain it because I knew there were going to be gaps in between the pallets. It's just inevitable. The pallets aren't going to be perfect. So instead of seeing like bare wood, I felt like that would make it look incomplete. So I went ahead and I stained both the back and the front of the pallet. Once I have the plywood nice and stained and it's had time to dry, I went ahead and I redrew the design because of course once I stained it the chocolate color, all that pencil mark went away. So I redid the design, just like the little bare bones. You'll see it right here. Just because I want to make sure that all of the pallets will align to the line that I drew. Does that make any sense, guys? Am I making sense? I went ahead and I cut it 45 degrees and I went and I placed it on top of the door thinking I was gonna be like, yep, 45 degrees. No, it was not 45 degrees. Calculate the degree that you need, and if you want to make it easier on yourself, you can just place it on the plywood and kind of draw where you see the line like I'm showing you right here, and cut it down and like find the angle with the miter saw, and I cut it down to size. So once you find the angle, the rest of them in that same row will have the same angle. So once I determined the angle that I needed to cut the wood, I added some construction adhesive and I placed it along that guideline, that diagonal line, and I clamped it down. This is the only wood that you'll need to clamp down. I call this piece of wood right here that I'm clamping down the guide piece, because once you have the guide piece down, you don't have to clamp anything else down because everything will rest against this guide piece that's already firmly in place. So you put the construction adhesive on the actual pallet, you put it on, you clamp it down, and then you take a nail gun and you nail everything in place. Once it's nailed in place, it's firm, it won't go anywhere, and that is your guide piece. And you also want to notice when I'm placing the boards down right here, you'll notice the ends of the boards are already cut down. It's because I measured it and I drew a line to see where I should cut it, and I cut it down to size. I cut it as close to the door as possible. Of course, I left some to overhang a little bit so I can just cut it down and it could all be one like smooth cut, but I cut it as close to the door as I could. I repeated the same for the other side and I completed the design. The diagonal parts were actually just the piece of wood, just like this. Can you see it behind me? And I literally laid it down so it formed a its own angle. I didn't have to cut any angles down. I just cut right here for where it overhung on the door. I'm sorry guys, I lost that footage. Once the design was complete, I noticed the door was really flimsy and I was just like, this cannot hang off of the cabinet like this. So I improvised and I took some 1x3s and I made a little frame like you see right here. I also wanted the middle to have some support, so I drilled some pocket holes at the end of the plywood that you see here, and I glued it on the center and I pocket holed and screwed in the middle supports. So your door is almost complete. I took this outside and I cut it with a circular saw. This is my first time using a circular saw and it's actually not that hard. As you can see here, I'm like barely moving because I wanted the line to be straight, because I know if I messed up on this and this line is crooked, that door is gonna look really awkward on the cabinet. So I moved really slow and I just cut around the perimeter. To make sure that I was going straight, I did use the 1x3s that I have on the outside. That's a straight edge in its own, so I made sure that I was just kind of cutting right along that edge. After I trimmed the doors down, I put 3 coats of polyurethane on the pallet doors and I let it sit overnight to dry. I thought the doors were a little bit plain, so I decided to add like these little decorative pieces that goes on garage doors. I put it on these doors because I knew it would look nice and give it that barnyard feel. And I also added the door handles off camera. So once you have the door handles on and the little decorative pieces, you're pretty much done with the door. All you need to do is add the hinges. I left this part to my husband because I did not understand how to attach the hinges. So the hands that you're gonna see are his hands. I was just holding the door up and my husband was drawing out where the hinges are supposed to be. After he made the lines for where the hinges are supposed to be, he calculated how far in the hole the cup holes were supposed to go to insert the cabinet hinges. He calculated how far that was gonna go, and I'll leave a separate YouTube video that we kind of referenced that helped us out in this process because the instructions on its own was a little bit confusing. He made these holes with a fastener bit and screwed in the hinges and put the door back on the cabinet and screwed the hinges in the actual cabinet. I literally did not want to pick up the door, guys. I had to turn the camera off. I was like, if this falls apart on camera, I'd be so devastated. But I turned the camera off, I moved it out the way, and we picked up the door. And I was just praying like, oh my gosh, please don't break, please don't break. And it literally just stood there. I was like, oh my gosh, I did that. The door did make an annoying creaking sound. And it's because the wood on the actual door, the 1x3s that we have on the back of the door, was rubbing up against the cabinet. I just took this handy little hook thing and I just shaved off some of the wood off of the door, not on the cabinet, because the cabinet's already painted at this point. And it was fine, it didn't squeak. So just keep shaving it until you don't hear any squeaking noises. After the doors were on, I opted to get these hook and eye latches, and they're really not that bad. I thought it was gonna be an eyesore when I first got it. I was like, geez, these things are humongous. But honestly, I don't even notice it on the doors. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you like this door? Like, do you like this door as much as I do? Because I'm in love with it. I am really in love with it. So yeah, that's it guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this cabinet and this build overall. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.